All right, welcome back. Our last session stopped. We were talking about the way we ended our last session. We talked about balance, contrast, emphasis. We were talking about proximity before it ended. We said that proximity is related elements should be grouped close together to visually connect them and establish a sense of organization and unity. Graphic design is all about the way you arrange your visual elements of designs, the way you professionally put them together. So the proximity is putting related elements, for example, your date and time and address, they are related elements. So they have to be together, okay? They have to be together to establish a sense of organization and unity. I can't have my date and time here, my dates here, then I'll take my time over here. Because normally when you check your date or your time, the next thing you should see, when you check your date, the next thing you should see is the time. Okay? So these are these are related elements that should flow together in your design. They should not be scattered around the design. Okay? So this is what we'll talk about when we say proximity. This is what we are talking about. The awesome church, this is the name of the church. It should normally be at the beginning of the design from the top. It's not really nice putting the name of the church down below this area. Your design should normally begin with that brand or that organization that owns this flyer or that owns the design. Don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that's proximity. Okay, present, joyful sound. Present introduces the theme of the program, joyful sound. I cannot go and put present and I take my date here. After present, you now see date. It doesn't flow well. So after present, you see joyful sound, which is the theme of the program. So it's the related elements, they should go together, they should stick together. That's what we're talking about, proximity. Then the fifth one we talk about is alignment. Elements should be aligned with each other to create a cohesive and structured design. Proper alignment helps establish visual order and clarity. Your elements should be properly aligned. You can see that if you draw a straight line from here upwards, you can see that they are properly aligned. Let me go to Photoshop now and show you. You can see that this is properly aligned. You can see this properly aligned. This element is not coming outside this line. This element is not coming outside this line. You can see this up part here. Everything is enclosed in this line. Okay? That is your alignment. Alignment is very important in design. It's very, very important. It gives your work a good structure. Okay? It helps to establish visual order and clarity, so that when somebody looks at your design, that person's mind will be captured and the design would flow well. That's what alignment does to your design. It makes your work to be structured and properly arranged. Okay? So you should take note of alignment in design. Your work should not be scattered. It should not be scattered. This joyful sound, it should not be here. Okay? And this one here coming out here. You can see this line, everything is properly following this line. No one is out of this line. So that's alignment for you. Then we'll talk about white space. Okay, this is seventh principle, white space, also known as negative space. It refers to the unmarked or empty areas of design. Proper use of white space allows for better readability, visual breathing room and focus on key elements. This is white space. What it simply means is that your design should not be jam packed. There should be rooms for the eyes to breathe. Let the paw breathe. Sorry about that. Okay, back to our what we are talking about. Your design should have white space. It should have areas. It should not be jam packed. That is the general message of white space. So that the human eyes doesn't really like noise when looking at something. There should be area for the eyes to be relaxed. When looking at a design, the eyes should be relaxed. Okay? So this is it. These areas you are seeing that are empty here, this area, these are white spaces. Okay? It allows for easy readability. Your design should not be jam-packed with so many elements which are not necessary. Okay, that's for white space. The eighth one we'll be talking about is typography. The choice of fonts, text size and spacing plays a crucial role in graphic design. It affects the readability, hierarchy and the overall aesthetic appeal of the design. The type of font you use, the size of the font, it plays a major role. For example, the theme of our program, you can see that the font used is very bold, and the type of font used, it somehow it has the feeling of this joyful sound. Okay, just imagine I used this present now. This is what I used to write joyful sound. How would it look like in this design? It will not be nice. So this is your choice of font is very important in design. You know the type of font you use and the size you should put it. Okay, so look at this joyful sound. This is the theme of our program. So you can see that it is very bold, and it is the boldest here in this design because this is the theme. This is our focal point. I wouldn't make this the time and the date to be as bold as this. So this, you can see that it will counter our previous discussion on hierarchy. Okay, so this font used here is very cool for this design. It passes the message. It aligns well with the theme of the message, the joyful sound. You can see the font. It's very cool. It's a cool font. Okay, so you should learn about the uses of the right fonts for designs. Okay, the next one we'll talk about is color theory. Understanding the principles of colors such as color harmony, contrast and psychology helps create visual pleasing and effective design. The use of colors is very important. You can see that the number of colors we used here are three, and they are matching colors. You cannot just use different type of colors anyhow. You should use matching colors, colors that goes together. You can see we use orange, we use red, somehow red color, then use white. These are colors that are matching. This is a dark color. Then you can see this is a light color. So they are matching colors. You don't just use colors like using pink and how would is it blue or orange, navy blue together. It doesn't really match. So when you browse, you check on what matching colors to use in your designs. And again, when you are designing for a brand, you should stick to their brand colors. I mentioned this earlier. For example, you are designing for MTN. MTN color brand is yellow and black. You don't bring blue into the picture when designing for them, or you use um orange. It doesn't suit well. Okay, so you know the type of color you are using, the number of colors you are using in a design. Then the last thing we'll talk about is the grid system. The use of grids or layout system helps establish consistent proportion and create visual harmony in design. It aids in elements and maintaining a balanced layout. So this is like when we go deep in design, we'll talk more on the grid system. It's your layout of your design. How do you want the design to be structured? How do you want the design to be structured? You can see this design is like in a block letter. Everything is structured inside this box. You can see we have our text at the left hand side. Then this image here came to balance up the text. Okay, so this is explaining the grid system. I hope this is understood. Thank you so much for joining in this class. In our next module, we'll be introducing you to Photoshop interface. Okay, you can see that this is the Photoshop interface. Okay, this is the Photoshop interface. So we'll be talking more about these things you are seeing. You should not be scared about it. We'll talk more on the most important tools you need to know in Photoshop. Okay, we introduce you the Photoshop interface, understanding the basic tools in Photoshop. Okay, that will be for our next module under our week 1. Okay, so see you in our next class. Thank you.